Today, we're diving into a pretty huge and, frankly, controversial idea that Spotify, the world's biggest music streaming service, might actually be doing more harm than good to the music industry.
Yeah, this is the core argument we're investigating. The claim is that Spotify's entire business model isn't just a little broken, it's manipulative, it's exploitative, and it's quietly changing the actual music we listen to, and not for the better. It's a massive accusation.
And that's the big question, right? How could an app that millions of us use and love every single day be accused of something so destructive? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. Let's start the investigation.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about something that hits you right in the wallet. We're all paying more, but is the service we're getting actually improving? A lot of people would say no.
Get this. In just a couple of years, Spotify has raised its prices not once, but twice. The standard individual plan shot up a full 20%, from under $10 to nearly $12. And it's the same story across their other plans, like Duo, Family, and even the student discount.
But you know, the frustration isn't just about the money. It's this feeling that we're paying more for what exactly? That shuffle function that famously isn't random? The one people have complained about for like a decade? Still not fixed? Nope. But instead of things users actually want, we got stuff like AI-generated playlists that hardly anybody asked for. And look, this isn't just a feeling. Spotify's own CEO, Daniel Ek, has been crystal clear about it. He said flat out that for now, their #1 priority is monetization, which is corporate speak for getting more money out of the people who already use the service. So let's see where that money is really going. This brings us to the next, much deeper layer of this whole mystery. If we, the listeners, are paying more, then the artists must be earning more, right? Well, you'd think so, but it's way more complicated than that. This is the exact question that so many artists, from superstars like Taylor Swift all the way to small, independent creators, have been asking for years. They've protested, they've even pulled their music from the platform, all because they say the payment system is fundamentally unfair. So how does Spotify actually pay artists? It uses a system they call pro rata, but it's easier to think of it as a giant pot. Basically, all the subscription and ad money from everyone in the world goes into one huge pile. Then Spotify carves up that pot based on an artist's percentage of total global stream. And here's the kicker. This means your subscription fee doesn't go directly to the artists you listen to. Let's say you spend a whole month listening to one obscure indie band on repeat. Too bad. The vast majority of your money still goes to the biggest pop stars on the planet because they dominate the global stream count. It's completely different from a platform like YouTube, where your views on a specific video more directly help that creator earn money. But wait, it gets even murkier. The actual deals between Spotify and the big record labels are completely secret, locked down by non-disclosure agreements. We only know some details because a contract with Sony Music was leaked, and it showed they got a $42 million advance from Spotify. How much of that trickled down to their actual artists? We have no idea. Some sources even claim that labels will agree to lower royalty rates in exchange for a guarantee that their artists get featured on Spotify's massive playlists. So this payout system doesn't just mess with artists' paychecks, it's literally changing the way music sounds. The platform's structure has created a powerful financial incentive for artists and labels to make a very specific kind of song. Check this out. Spotify registers a stream after you listen for just 30 seconds. That's it. It doesn't care if the song is 31 seconds long or 11 minutes long. So a short 2-minute song that gets played 10 times will earn way more money than a 10-minute epic that gets played 6 times, even though the total listening time for the long song is much higher. Spotify doesn't reward ambitious music, it rewards repeatable music. And you can bet the labels have figured this out. It's created a sort of formula for what you could call Spotify core music. The goal isn't just art anymore, it's financial optimization. You need a really short intro, you got to get to that catchy hook before the 30-second mark, and you keep the whole thing under 3 minutes to encourage people to hit repeat. A perfect real-world example is the song ABCDEFU. You remember that one. The story sold to the public was that it was this raw, organic hit that blew up from a fan suggestion on TikTok. The reality? That fan was a marketing director at her record label.
The entire thing was a perfectly engineered campaign to push a song that, wouldn't you know it, is 2 minutes and 48 seconds long with a hook that hits you like a truck. It was built for the streaming game. Okay, so artists are underpaid and being pushed to write formulaic music. You might be thinking, how could it possibly get worse? Well, what if they're not even competing against real people anymore? This is where we get into the strange world of ghost artists. According to some deep dive reporting, Spotify has an internal strategy called perfect fit content. The company allegedly works with production houses that just churn out endless hours of generic mood-based music. Chill beats, focus flow, that kind of stuff. This music is then uploaded under hundreds of fake artist names to populate these hugely popular playlists, which, of course, reduces the amount of money that has to be paid out to real musicians. And the evidence for this stuff is hiding in plain sight. Take the case of Suzanne Davis, who is a verified artist on Spotify. A few years ago, a Redditor did a quick reverse image search on her profile picture and discovered it was just a licensed stock photo. And today, her profile is still active, but now with a new stock photo and album covers that look very, very AI-generated. And this is where things get really slippery. As of right now, there's no law that says Spotify has to tell you if music is made by AI. None. So these ghost artists and AI-generated tracks can sit right next to your favorite human artists, competing for your streams and for a slice of that giant money pot. And the average listener has no clue. So let's just recap for a second. Prices are going up. Artist payouts are a mess. The music itself is being reshaped. And now there are fake artists flooding the platform. At some point, you have to ask why. Where is all the money going? And to understand that, we need to follow the money to Wall Street. 109. What's that? That's Spotify's price-to-earnings ratio, or PE ratio. In simple terms, it's a number that shows how much investors are willing to pay for a company's stock compared to what it actually earns. A really high number means investors are betting on absolutely massive growth in the future. Now, to understand just how insane a PE of 109 is, you need some context. Let's look at other tech giants. Microsoft's is around 38. Amazon's is 35. Google is at 20. This tells you that Spotify's stock price isn't based on how it's doing now. It's based on this incredibly optimistic hope for future profits. And the only way to try and justify that valuation is to squeeze every last cent out of the platform. And this brings us all the way back to the beginning. It's crucial to remember who founded Spotify. They weren't musicians, they were tech entrepreneurs who came from the world of online advertising. Their genius wasn't in cultivating art, it was in monetizing engagement and data. When you look at everything through that lens, all these weird strategies, the payout model, the push for short songs, they start to make a very different kind of sense. So it leaves us with this huge fundamental conflict. Is Spotify a music company? Or is it a tech company whose product just happens to be music? Because when the main goal becomes satisfying Wall Street and justifying a massive stock price, you have to ask what gets sacrificed along the way. What ultimately happens to the music itself? That's the question at the very heart of this. Thanks for digging into this with us on The Explainer.